All right, sorry. Oh wait.
Right, can you
All
hear me?
right. I think we're good now. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We had some technical difficulties. I guess you guys couldn't hear us. Um, but yeah, we're back. So, all right. Sorry. What were we talking about? All right. 1800s.
So yeah, more than that 1700s American colonization around that time period. The one big thing is that kind of the beginning of slavery, right, was largely around tobacco, right? So the Europeans really loved their fucking smoke, and so that really pushed slavery. Kind of the building of the country. But even back then, I don't think people get how prevalent drugs were.
Oh
Everything
yeah.
across the board from alcohol.
Oh yeah. Cocaine. I mean, heroin.
I
I mean,
mean, dude, the fact Coca-Cola had cocaine and everything. I mean, you can get opium. Dude, especially during the Civil War. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but apparently heroin, right, was created to be a less addictive version of opium.
oh yeah.
So they kind of fucked that one up just a little bit.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
Um, but even back then, it just seemed much more commonplace. Like I don't know, they actually had that. There's one things what they called freedoms. But it wasn't until the early 1900s where they really started cracking down.
Why was that though?
Um,
I mean, I know that hemp used to be a huge, huge farm,
mm-hmm.
or a huge cash crop for the U.S. I think George Washington grew hemp, didn't he?
Absolutely. Even they say that the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper. And kind of one of the big themes too that people don't understand is that you think of weed, marijuana, right? You don't really think of hemp as much, but dude, it's a fucking super plant, right? They used it for sales, they used it for paper, all sorts of byproducts,
Yeah.
right? And I'd say a good place to start was prohibition,
I mean, you
right?
can use this shit for everything. I
Everything
mean,
you
I
can.
saw I saw a house that was 3D printed with hemp.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, yes, like we need that.
Absolutely.
And like they don't, I don't understand why they don't. Well, I guess North Carolina is a really big hemp farm
Mm-hmm.
state.
Absolutely.
So it's like, why not capitalize on it?
Hundred
You know?
percent. Well, and there's a lot of reasons, especially when it comes to Hearst, right? Because at the end of the day, it was the end of Prohibition, right? So we had Prohibition, right? We demonized alcohol. When that ended, right, they basically wanted a new target, right? And you have Anslinger.
But what was the reason that they banned alcohol in the 30s? What was the reason for that? Do you remember?
I honestly not too sure.
Just because, like,
I want to say it was largely pushed by like
yeah, I
religion,
could see that. I
women's
could see that.
suffrage. Um, I don't know. I mean, that'd be a good thing to look more into.
Yeah.
But basically, though, you had something that was demonized, right? As far as alcohol, and
Mm.
basically, next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, now what, right? And so a lot of those resources then next pick the next enemy,
Yeah.
marijuana, right? And up to that, it wasn't
Well,
even a big
and,
issue.
and marijuana too, that had a lot to do with racism.
Oh,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like back in the 30s, racism was so rampant then, like it still is, but I mean
Hmm.
at the same time, but it was directly targeted the black community.
Right.
You
Oh,
know,
as,
and
as
the
well as
jazz. It was the
Hispanics
jazz
too.
community too. It was really big in the jazz community.
Hmm.
Um so, and Reefer Madness, man, and it's just like
Oh,
watching all those old Reefer Madness videos, it's
absolutely.
just
All the
ridiculous.
disinformation is crazy. But yeah, no, definitely targeted groups. And, it's crazy to me that, Anslinger took on all this, making it demonized. And
Mhm.
then later on, when they actually do all the medical studies, it's like, oh, wow, this actually isn't as bad as we've demonized the last 30 years,
Yeah.
right? Because I think it was, in 1937, yeah, Marijuana Tax Act 1937. And that was the federal law that, basically banned the sale of hemp marijuana.
Mhm.
But how much do you know about Hearst? You
I
know,
don't know really a lot about was it Randall Hearst? Is that
I
his name?
believe so, William Randall Hearst.
Yeah, no, I don't know a
I
lot about him.
more so just know the last name, but basically the guy was the dominant, ran all the news media outlets. But pretty much the reason he wanted it illegal, right, is that basically hemp, as a byproduct, being able to make paper would have threatened his entire, basically, his entire business.
Was he in the timber industry?
Yes, yeah. So basically making paper, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and I mean, if you have this plant that one, grows year round, it grows fast, it's a fucking weed,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're making money, fuck that. You want that to be illegal. And I mean, dude, there's tons of other reasons, everything from the plastics, oils, they
Dude, it's so many things you can use hemp for,
right.
you know?
I think they even said was it that Henry Ford, the first car, ran on hemp oil. I don't know how true that is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
So
that's interesting. It could be,
right.
you know?
So, but of course, look at the money. Of course we want that shit to be illegal. You know, if we're
Yeah.
making billions and billions
And
and billions.
especially now, the states that are holding back
Mhm.
are the heavy pharmaceutical states like North Carolina.
Right.
You know, like we're a big pharmaceutical state. You know,
Mhm.
so like we have Bayer here. Well, I guess Bayer's not a thing anymore. I think Pfizer's
Yep.
factories here.
Mhm.
I mean, we're a big state for healthcare. You know, we have Duke, the Duke Cancer Center. Like it's
Mhm.
like the best in the country.
Oh, the entire
You
triangle.
know, so like it's in their best interest to keep marijuana illegal.
Mhm.
You know, and like especially when these doctors, have the pharmaceutical companies have the doctors in their pocket.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So
absurd.
like they want you on drugs.
Mhm.
Like they want AIDS patients to never be cured.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, like the pharmaceutical companies need to eat a fucking dick is really what needs to happen.
Right, and dude, and I had a buddy of mine. His dad was like a hospital administrator, and it's kind of fucked. But at the end of the day, they pray for sickness. It's an economy
Yeah.
within itself.
Yeah.
What's the last thing you want? And we'll talk about the addiction and the epidemic later. But at the end of the day, if it's a profit, it's an industry. Like look at how expensive.
Oh
These
yeah, and like
rehabs are.
my friend that works in the hospital, she's telling me, she's like, yeah, they do all this extra stuff, especially with the COVID patients.
Mhm.
She said they do all kinds of extra shit to the COVID patients, and they're making money hand over fist there
Oh,
with COVID,
for
dude.
sure.
Like they're getting paid so much money. But you know what's crazy, man? What she told me was that all of the patients that we have at Rex in
Mhm.
Raleigh,
Right.
99% of them are Hispanic.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Well, and going back to like the targeted, things or whatever, they
Mhm.
largely targeted Hispanic groups, and blacks. But one thing that was really interesting was that it was largely in the South, right?
Yeah.
And basically they ended up making it federal because apparently up north they didn't give a shit. It wasn't even a big deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't make it federally legal. Well, maybe they did. When did they make it federally illegal? I thought it was when they started um, I thought it was in the 80s,
Well,
Reaganomics.
So
I thought it
yes
was
and
like
no. So they did pass the Marijuana
when they
Tax
started
Act in
scheduling drugs.
1937. So what basically happened is they had that act in 1937, and they basically repealed it in the 70s because they basically said it was unconstitutional,
Right.
and it was like within a year that they made it illegal again. And I forget the exact reasons, but largely it was due to the hippie movement, right?
Mhm.
They wanted to suppress it. I think it was, I heard something about basically getting a lot of people off the White House lawn smoking. And at the end of the day, you had a bunch of hippies sitting around smoking weed, and what better way to take that away from them?
Yeah, I mean, God,
Right.
they hated the beatnik movement. They hated it.
Absolutely.
They hated it. The
For
government
sure.
hated it. I think Nixon was president then, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and there's Nixon and Reagan had a lot to do with the upcoming drug war and everything. But so the DEA, right? It was under Nixon, right? That one they started outlining the schedules of drugs. And dude, have you ever actually looked at each schedule?
yeah.
Isn't that a crock of shit?
Yeah, it's
Like,
fucking retarded. Is what it is.
Schedule 1, no medical use at all. Like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, and just you look at them and it's like, okay, you're telling me meth and heroin
But you know
have
what,
more
man?
application.
You know what we need, man? We need marijuana lobbyists for
Mhm.
North Carolina. We need lobbyists with a buckload of money,
Right.
dumping money into these politicians' pockets.
Mhm.
More money than the pharmaceutical companies are dumping.
Right.
That's what needs to happen for us to get legal here.
Mm-hmm.
And like we're always on the cusp here, and it pisses me off.
It just sucks but the financial threat of actually having weed or cannabis legal. I mean, from the plastics, the oils, the papers to
yeah.
the medicine in itself.
I mean,
like,
what about the money it's going to generate from taxes to go straight towards schools?
dude, 100%.
You know what I mean?
But the
Like,
thing is you have those few fucking rich corporations that are like, not fuck that. We
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to entertain that. So, but I think it's kind of getting to a point where people are like, it's been so accepted, even though being legal.
Yeah.
It's just like, seriously, guys. And it's nice to see there's some states or whatever where it's not an issue. I'm hearing more and more stories where people are getting pulled over, and weed's being found, and the cops are like, "Look, we don't care. It's fine."
dude, did you see all the cops that were on 70 today in Clayton?
No, I
In
didn't. I
Garner?
think I saw you post about
Dude, it was Nightdale and Garner PD, and they
Mhm.
had the Booze It or Lose It truck out there
Oh,
at
joy.
literally 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
it. Jeez,
I saw at least 15 people pulled over.
man.
Like, and I mean, they had the entire fucking force out there. Like, if you were gonna rob a bank today would have been the day to do it because they were all there.
Man, I love people are just getting lit on a random Thursday.
I mean, dude,
So-
what? Like, it made no sense to me that they were out like 3 o'clock in the fucking afternoon.
Right. Not at all.
They must be broke, man.
Dude, who knows?
They must be broke.
Who fucking knows? So, well, that's the other huge thing, right? So think about how much money is being generated from all this. And I have it here somewhere, but, so the DEA, right? The DEA was actually started under Nixon, right? So when they first started in 1971, it started off, let's see, with a budget of $75 million, right? And it was started off with about 1,400 agents, right? Well, now, to current day, it's about 2.10 billion, right, with over 5,000 agents. So, I mean, substantially grown. And I mean, that's not even to talk about, the prison aspect of it, right? From, the court fees, the legal fees, all those bullshit classes to prison. I'll tell you who has actually lobbyists in prison unions, right?
Really?
Absolutely. You want to look at some lobbyists that are basically like, oh, keep this shit illegal. It's a lot of prison lobbyists. It's like at the end of the day, imagine if weed was legal. Imagine all the people in there now that it's like, oh, sorry, our bad.
Yeah.
So
that's a whole nother podcast. Is the private prison systems and how fucked that is.
I mean, remind you, it's a fucking plant, right? It is absolutely a plant. It's not something made in a lab. But so now going back to more of the history, how much do you know about the Nazis and their drug use?
Oh. Dude, I think they prescribed them methamphetamine.
Absolutely. 100%.
The Blitzkrieg?
Yeah.
Dude, all those fucking soldiers were all high on meth.
Dude, absolutely.
They were like, we're going to blitz the fuck out of these motherfuckers.
What kills me, too, is like there's all these pictures on Facebook. They're like, oh, look what war does to you over 4 years. And it's like, yeah, bro, no, they were all fucking tweaked on meth, every one of them. If you're in war, fearing for your life, you want your people up and aware.
Dude.
So
and Hitler actually used a lot lot of drugs too, man. He's
100%.
Definitely a druggie.
He had a personal doctor that IV'd him meth every day, like 4 or 5 days.
Yep.
But also the Japanese.
There's some conspiracy that Trump is a Adderall addict.
Man.
Which would make a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Know? And I mean, for the most part,
if he is, he hides it well.
Adderall, if anything, is like diet meth.
Yeah.
Like it's the difference of one methyl group. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. But, so no, yeah, every soldier is just tweaked out of their mind. But to kind of transition to this, did you ever watch the movie Kill the Messenger? Gary Webb?
Mm-mm.
Have you heard of Gary Webb?
I think I have heard of Gary Webb.
So Gary Webb, was the news reporter who basically uncovered the CIA contract, the crack cocaine.
Oh yeah. So,
okay,
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's a whole another thing to get into. But there's been tons of actually even earlier than this, there's tons of evidence of a lot of drug trade, basically the government being behind it.
Yeah. And
kind of the one way I would look at it is that you're not going to let the most profitable industry, right? Because I'm looking here, and in 2003 they said the drug trade just in the U.S. alone is $320 billion, right? 320
the
billion.
Illegal drug trade?
The illegal drug trade, right? 320 billion.
Well, we do like our cocaine here in America.
I mean, I don't like it. I just like the way it smells. But no, it's a racket. But the big thing with Gary Webb, man, was that he, was a journalist. He uncovered that entire crack cocaine epidemic.
Yeah.
And they discredited him like crazy.
Didn't they kill him?
Oh, yeah. No. He committed suicide with, was it 2 shots to the back of the head?
That was the guy that got shot in the...
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Dude, that's going to be my new catchphrase. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sure. Yeah,
I'm going to put it on a shirt, guys.
And, if you need me to explain that, 2 shots to the back of the head is pretty hard to do when committing suicide.
Yeah, 2 shots to the back of the head?
So I don't think you're around long enough to get that second shot in.
Wow.
But what's nuts is that, he uncovered this, right? And pretty much the media did everything they did. He had all the sources, but they did everything they could to demonize him and discredit him, like everything. And
just like they did Phil Schneider.
Oh, for sure. So and that'll be a whole other episode. But what's funny is that they ended up declassifying everything, right? Mm-hmm. That they were involved, right? And they couldn't. But when that came out?
When?
Basically, it came out just like when no one was paying attention, when the big thing going on was the Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton.
No way. That's when it was declassified?
Absolutely.
Wow.
But let me ask, so what all with that? What all do you know about that?
About Monica Lewinsky?
Well,
and
well,
all
no,
that?
more so the
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
right.
kidding.
So no, Bill Clinton knows a lot about that, but no,
Yeah.
more so the crack cocaine epidemic and Gary Webb.
I mean, dude, it was obviously targeted at the black community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, especially in the urban areas. You know what I mean? Like, it ran rampant, dude. New York City, any big city.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just it destroyed communities.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it made. I don't understand why they did it. You know, what was the purpose of? I guess
Well,
racism
yeah, no,
had a lot to
definitely
do with it.
racism.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
because it was literally it's who they targeted. You know, and like I just like we're so close. Like we just changed our way of thinking
Right.
as like a whole society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we still got a bunch of stupid racist fuckers. You know, that are still straggling on and not waking up. Like, no, this is 2020.
Right.
You know, like there's no I don't understand. Divided, they can conquer us better.
Mhm.
That's why they keep us fighting amongst each other.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? That's why they want the race wars. That's why they want these protests. They want us distracted from what they're really fucking doing.
Right. Well,
You know?
and you hit the nail on the head with like disenfranchising, the black communities. A lot of racism was a driving factor. But if you look at the laws, right? Like, you've seen the laws, like, crack. Crack and cocaine are essentially the same thing, right?
Right.
But did you know that like they were penalizing, crack, a lot more than just regular cocaine, and of course.
Yeah, I wonder why though.
Well, guess where crack was most prevalent.
Where?
In the black communities.
Yeah,
in
right.
those inner cities.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Okay, I got you.
And
Well,
where
yeah,
it was,
because the white people are doing cocaine.
right, 100%.
Yeah.
And
No, okay, that makes perfect fucking sense.
what's crazy is that the laws were written, and I can't remember exactly, but it was like you could get the same amount of time for 5 grams of crack as like 500 grams of cocaine.
What?
Like, and
I
it was
wonder if it's because it's it's cooked down. You know, is it more? I guess it's more. I don't fucking know.
oh, so adding a little bit of baking soda is
Yeah.
gonna make it more illegal.
Well, I guess it makes it smokable. I guess, but
Right. I mean,
But-
but still, it's the same shit, different toilet. Like, I mean, we're gonna charge infinitely much more.
yeah, and I mean, dude, there's a couple of DEA agents that came forward, and were like, "This is what's going on." You know, along with Gary Webb, it was a group of guys, not just Gary Webb. It was like
no,
him and like
plenty.
2 or 3 other guys, I think.
How about the one movie with Tom Cruise? What was it called? Man, American Made. I think American Made. Barry. I think it was Barry Seal. He was a pilot, Louisiana. He was flying back and forth. Also, another guy that happened to suicide himself. But no, the CIA is in it. The cocaine import agency, as I've heard.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh, without a doubt, man. You know, our government's had their hand in the drug trade for years.
Right. Well, also though too, there's the other side of it as well. Especially with like Pablo Escobar when he was up to the rise. Right. I remember reading somewhere that it was actually better for the CIA to be involved.
Give me my jacket right there.
It was better for the CIA to be involved, and when Pablo Escobar, things actually ran more smoothly because it could be controlled.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like they're not going to overtly control it. They're going to control it behind the scenes. It's like, again, there's money. And like the main reason with, the crack cocaine epidemic, right? We were flying cocaine back from Nicaragua, right? Because at the time, I guess the Reagan administration or like the Senate or Congress did not want to fund a war. Basically, we were funding Nicaraguans to basically fight off communism, something along those lines. So we were sending
talking
them
about the Contras.
Yeah, the Contras.
Yeah.
So we were sending them weapons, and we were getting coke, and that's how we funded that war. Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But and then Congress stopped it.
right.
You
Well,
know, and then what did they do? They went behind Congress's back and kept doing it, didn't they?
Absolutely. So because the government had on the front end had nothing. They want nothing to do with it. But
Yeah.
trust.
I mean, you got to think about how many crooked DEA agents were back then. You know what I mean? Money talks. In the
Right.
end, money talks. And a lot of those guys got paid off. You know what I
100%.
mean? Like,
Well, then if you look at all the shiesty shit the CIA's done, and I mean the thing is, I'm sure they've done good at some point, but like they're doing their hands are deep into some dark shiesty shit.
yeah, that's not even including the black budget shit.
Right, not at all. So, but and as well, we can go even more to modern day, right? Kind of going to opium. Like, why the fuck are we in Afghanistan? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Oh man,
what's
there's a
going
lot
on
of
there?
reasons we're in Afghanistan. I saw something about it the other day actually about how they are trying to they went in and destabilized 6 countries:
Oh, I'm sure.
Syria, Iran, Iraq,
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan, Lebanon, and I think there's one more.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole reason that they were doing it is because of Israel.
I would be surprised.
Israel is trying to take stake to that land,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's the end game for that.
Right.
is Israel is trying to take back their holy land or whatever the
Mhm.
fuck they want to call it. But you know what people don't understand, man, is Israel.
Mhm.
Oh man, they have our hands deep in our
Absolutely.
politics,
Definitely. Well,
like deep, deep.
one thing I don't think people get is that Mossad, man, that intelligence network is hella powerful,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Like when
yeah.
you have shit on everyone and your tentacles run deep, like you can
And I
do a
mean,
lot
think
of
about all the
control.
double agents. Like Ghislaine Maxwell was a
Hmm.
double, triple, quadruple
Dude, I
agent,
wouldn't be
from what I
surprised.
heard.
I read something recently. Not only was her dad like a crazy Mossad agent, but also her sister or whatever was one of the co-founders of Gilead Sciences,
Hmm.
right? I forget exactly what they do. I think it's a pharmaceutical company, maybe. Double check me, but it's a massive, massive company. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you own a
Dude,
submarine
yeah.
company. Your dad's a Mossad agent. You're working with Jeffrey Epstein,
Right.
and like your
Well,
sister just
I
happens to
mean, dude,
be.
Jewish people run our country.
Uh,
They run the media.
mm-hmm,
They run the music industry.
mm-hmm,
They own everything.
right,
They own the banks.
mm-hmm,
They own the banks. You know what I mean? So like, it's crazy to think about like how, like that's how World War II got started.
right,
Was like the rise of Nazism
mm-hmm,
was because the Jews owned all the money
right.
and nobody could get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic at all.
Right. No.
I'm just stating
Same.
facts.
And it's a sensitive
Like
area.
it is a sensitive area,
Yeah,
man.
I
But
want to be respectful.
of course, like we're not anti-Semitic, but Jewish people do run
Mhm.
everything. They run the media for fucking sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's. I feel like history is literally repeating itself, dude.
Dude, again,
you feel that way?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, but more so too. It's the history. Do we even know the history? Because if the news is fake, what's the history even look like?
Yeah, I mean,
but
see, like they put so much stuff out now.
Mhm.
They put so much misinformation. Nobody knows what's heads or tails anymore.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like no one knows what
Mhm.
what to believe, and like that's why we're here, guys.
And if you trust the media, I'm sorry. So
Yeah, if you watch the fucking news, just stop, dude. Please,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this every podcast. Do not watch the fucking news.
nah, please don't.
Stop.
But another thing.
4chan is better than the fucking news.
The other thing with World War II, in basically, I remember reading somewhere that basically the Jewish people made up 5% of the population of Germany, right? Except they controlled like 95% of the
Of the money,
government,
right.
So no way I'm gonna say Hitler was ever right, but like
No.
there was some rooted reasons. And the other thing too, though, is that
When then the Great Depression happened.
what's up?
The Great Depression happened,
Oh,
and then
yeah,
all
absolutely.
their prophecies came true.
Right.
So.
Well, and they did make a bounce back their economy, and I think that was another big thing. Part of the rise it was because they actually had real money. They weren't part of the global banking system.
Yeah.
So, but drugs and money go together, man. At the end of the day, drugs you can
And
get
the
rid
Nazis
of drugs
love their
anywhere.
drugs. They do.
So, but back to Afghanistan, man. Why are we over there? What's their number one export?
Oh, opium.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely
opium.
90% of the world's opium.
I mean, we don't need their oil, man. We got plenty of oil.
Does Afghanistan have oil?
I don't think so. Maybe, yeah.
I think
they
that's
do.
more
Yeah.
of the other country.
Oh,
if
yeah,
they do,
Iraq
I
and
don't
Iran.
think it's. I don't think it's.
It's
as,
not like the other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. But I heard this from a comedian. Of like why we're involved in Afghanistan, right? Of all people, I think it was Eddie Griffin.
Mm.
But so do you know the number one consumer of opium in the world? Guess what country that is?
It's got to be us.
No.
China.
China.
Yeah, China.
Right. Guess who controls all of our debt?
China.
Right.
Hell
So
yeah.
this comedian, and it was eye opening, but he basically made a joke that you got to control the opium to control China. And I'm not sure, I couldn't find much on this, but apparently opium's like a big part of Buddhism somehow.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how. I should have done more research on it, but somehow there's a connection there. But no, opium's, yeah. And have you ever heard of the Opium Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So England basically being like, oh hey, no, you're gonna take this drug as payment. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, and they had 2 rebellions. So,
Oh shit.
but
Oh man. So, what else do you want to talk about, man?
yeah, I think we can go more to the modern day, man.
Yeah?
More in the modern day. So where we're at today, right?
Where
so,
are we at today?
uh,
Today is so fucked.
A little bit.
What in the fuck? 2020.
Pharmaceutical industries.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, I mean, actually, the other thing I'd add, last point is LSD, right?
Go ahead.
So LSD's big rise was in the '60s.
Mm-hmm.
Reading somewhere that could very well been a psyop by the CIA, right?
Oh, I mean, dude, have you ever seen Wormwood?
What's
That was
that?
like the story about the CIA agent.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story about the CIA agent that I guess they gave him LSD without telling him,
Oh well, yeah,
and he jumped from the
yeah,
ninth story window or whatever.
definitely.
Man, that's a crazy story, man.
Right,
And like his family has been trying to sue him for years, and like like they're like, no, we're not doing it,
right.
and like it's a whole shit show. But like, yeah, man, they were dosing
Mm-hmm.
people that worked for the CIA without
Mhm.
telling them, like, oh, you're about to have some fun tonight, guy.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
e-
it's really fucking weird.
Even the fact that they were using an MK Ultra. Right?
Oh yeah,
as like a
that was
method.
MK Ultra. Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Like, and it's documented they were using it, but the big one is that they, the entire free love movement with acid or whatever was basically a way to dispel and distract the hippies, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, but I can
But
see it.
it backfired on him because it kind of woke everybody up a
A
little bit.
little bit, yeah,
know?
absolutely.
I think that was the closest that we ever came to a real revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think the government was absolutely fucking terrified of LSD
Mm-hmm.
because it opened people's eyes. It made everyone realize that we're all one consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was not good for the government. They
Right.
were like, oh shit, they're all banding together. They don't want us to band together. They
Mhm.
don't want blacks and whites together. They
Not
want
at
us
all.
to fight. Like they want to create that divide in us, man, and
Mhm.
it's bullshit. You
Well,
know?
and dude, also there's like a profound history, like with a lot of the people doing acid in the past. Like they're all like it's supposed to be known as the drug of geniuses, right? And you have a lot of people that Nobel Peace Prize winners, rocket scientists, all the way to
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, and then you have Albert Hoffman that dosed like a huge amount of LSD
Yup.
the first time he ever. That bike ride must have been fun as hell.
So I actually heard from someone. I think my roommate was telling me that you hear about Bicycle Day or whatever the first, but it's not. It didn't end up like that.
Albert Hoffman, yeah.
You're right, but apparently that first or second day, dosed, he was terrified. Like
Oh,
he
I
had
can
no
imagine.
idea what's going on. And,
I mean,
and
he dosed a lot. It was like a lot.
and
you know?
I'm sure doing acid intentionally is one thing, but
Yeah.
if you're not ready for it,
Yeah.
like I could only imagine. I mean, I hope you wouldn't jump off a building, but I'd be freaking out. I'm sure. So.
Oh yeah, especially if I didn't know what it was.
Right. It's just like, wow, my reality is blurring,
Yeah.
So what the fuck is going
Can you
on?
imagine like being at the lab and then it's like getting on your bike
Mhm.
and just like shit starts melting and you're like you're the first one to ever experience it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck did I just do to myself? You know
Right.
what I mean?
No, absolutely. I would be
I
ready
would have
for
been
that.
terrified after the second day too.
Dude, what's even crazier actually, like I guess during the 60s, so one of the scientists that worked on the Manhattan projects, right, ended up being he produced like 95% of all the LSD in the 60s. Just one guy, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he was working on nuclear weapons, went to that. So it's pretty nuts that one guy was essentially responsible for all of that, like through and fucking through.
Yeah.
So, but no, so now coming now more to the modern day where we're at today with drugs, right? So at this time and day, people are aware. People like like if you think weed's a fucking like get over it, like
Yeah.
and I don't smoke, I don't care to
I
smoke.
still catch shit from my mom about it. I'm like, you realize everyone fucking smokes weed.
A lot
Everyone
of
smokes
people
weed.
do, and for some people maybe it's not for them. My only thing against weed, and it's safe obviously at this point, but it makes you okay with doing nothing, right? That's
Yeah,
about
I can
it.
agree with that.
And it's sometimes as a society as a whole, maybe we don't need to be completely complacent, but at the end of the day, who's it hurting, right? And I think also too it comes to a level of economy, right? Because it's just like instead of smoking a plant that grows for free, being content, chilling out, eating, it's all about economic consumerism. Buy this, buy that, buy this.
Yeah.
To have fun versus like let's just smoke a fucking blunt and chill out, right? But then looking at the big epidemic now, opium, right? So not even the heroin and opium, all the fucking OxyContin.
Yeah, that's pharmaceutical.
Right.
But the pharmaceutical companies have kind of reined in. They've kind of been exposed. More or less. But you know what? They sell you the drug, get you addicted, and then they sell you the cure,
Right.
which is Suboxone.
Yeah.
Or these drugs that can cure your blah blah blah. And it's not you're trading one addiction for the other.
100%.
You know what I mean?
It's like quitting, but not really.
Right. I mean, yeah, okay, I don't do heroin anymore, but I do Suboxone.
Yeah.
Like, fuck
You're
off.
just as fucked up.
Yeah, you
I
need
mean,
to
but
stop.
respectfully though,
Right,
like
right.
it is
It's
like
it's
yeah,
hard.
like
I'm gonna tell you, it's hard.
I can't say I can relate at
Heroin,
all.
no, I can't either. But I know
Right.
I've lost a few friends to it.
Absolutely.
Heroin is a really, really dirty drug.
100%.
Dirty,
Like
dirty
the
drug.
fact, just hearing stories from people where it's like, oh yeah, I've like overdosed like 3 times and I'm still going back. Like I just couldn't imagine having a fixation.
Dude,
like,
my ex-girlfriend had to have a heart stent put in.
jeez.
You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, dude, she had to have open heart surgery basically.
Man, well, what kills me most is that most people that end up doing heroin, right? It all starts off like, oh, I broke my arm, oh, they
Yeah.
prescribed me this. Oh, well, OxyContin's expensive as fuck. Well, oh, well, I can get this for so much cheaper,
Yeah.
right? And next thing you know, oh, fucking, there's the heroin. Oh, I'm
Oh
addicted
yeah,
to
I need something
heroin.
stronger. This isn't working anymore.
Right. Oh,
You
did
know,
someone get
or the
addicted to
doctor, or your
heroin?
doctor won't give you any more pain medicine, and you need
Mm-hmm.
it at that point because you're addicted to it.
Right, and it's a whole racket. And I think it's even coming out that a lot of these drug manufacturers are getting sued left and right.
Oh, they should. Without a
Absolutely.
doubt, they should.
I don't know if you've ever heard of like Florida and OxyContin or whatever in the heyday, but apparently like Florida was just fucking prescribing it like left and right like candy.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I'm
talking like
sure.
there's stories of like a doctor
That's why
lined
there's
up.
so many Florida man stories.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was a little hearing this. And mind you, yeah, no, Florida might be the armpit of America where people go to die. But the funny thing though is that when it comes to these crazy Florida man stories, right? Apparently, the media is like unregulated, right? So, like as a journalist reporter, you have access to all information. So, I basically in some it's pretty much that you can do whatever with news stories, whereas it's more restricted in other states.
Really? I didn't know that.
So a little bit,
know that.
but no, Florida is definitely where everyone goes to die.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
definitely.
through and through.
And to fish too.
I mean, yeah, no, I can see that. It's just a giant coastline, but
But yeah, man. I think the war on drugs has absolutely failed.
100%.
Without a doubt, like you look at other countries that have different drug laws. I think Mexico just legalized cocaine.
Really,
Pretty sure you can go to Mexico and buy cocaine.
right?
Like they don't care. But they don't. I feel like if drugs were legal and regulated, you know what I mean, and we had proper avenues to get people treatment.
Right.
Mental health treatment, not fucking
100%.
AA or NA.
Yeah,
That's
no,
filled with some religious
right.
bullshit.
I agree. And
Okay.
I talk to my mom about this all the time.
Dude, I can't. That's what pisses me off the most about AA and NA.
Oh, you've got to give yourself to God.
Right, and
it's
like, I'm sorry, but not everybody feels that same sentiment. Okay, not everybody has the same religious beliefs. I'm sorry.
Well, and I think they did a study in comparing different programs, and like AA like has like some of the worst
Yeah.
rates ever.
Right.
And I mean, it's
Right.
good that there's a program period for, and respect to anyone that's going to AA, NA, and getting something out of it. I
Right,
think
right.
just having people around that are dealing with similar issues is probably a healthy
That's,
environment.
group therapy.
Right. Definitely.
It doesn't have to be give yourself up to a higher power
Right.
to cure your addiction. No, it's the power is within you. Like people don't realize how strong we are as humans. And like it just pisses me off that I gotta surrender myself to a higher power to cure myself.
It's
Like,
within you. I mean,
right. It's always within you.
like in another quote, I think is really accurate is what is it? Drugs aren't illegal because they're dangerous, right? They're dangerous because they're illegal.
Right.
Right. And
Right,
like
exactly.
through. And I mean, you have kids getting shot by cops over like a gram of weed or just
Yeah.
But have you heard of Portugal? Okay, awesome. So this is a good one. So Portugal, right? Actually, and I don't know when exactly. I think it was in the earlier 2000s. They decriminalized all drugs.
Right. Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear
So,
about that.
and I mean, I'm talking massive, tremendous success, right? Because one, you're not arresting people left and right for a disease, and people are actually able to get the help they need. But the statistics are there with Portugal.
Yeah.
Like, they turned everything around.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what those statistics are, because I bet you it is a lot better. You know what I mean? Like without a doubt,
Absolutely.
like I think we're doing the wrong thing here.
Right. Well, and I feel like a lot of the people I know that are heroin addicts, it's like they want the help, but where are you going to get the help at?
Right.
Right.
Right. If you don't have health insurance or you don't have money to go to a good rehab and the rehab facility,
I
like-
guess I'll go to prison.
yeah, right.
Oh, and then you can get drugs in prison.
yeah.
Like, how are
you
people-
can't get away from it.
Right. How about Switzerland? Have you heard of Switzerland and the heroin clinics? Okay, so in Switzerland they actually have heroin clinics, right? Where pretty much they offer just a safe place. Oh, you're a heroin addict. Come here. You do your heroin. We'll have a doctor on staff. Go get your fix. We'll provide it for you, and then go about your business on your way.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the crime, isn't the drug itself. It's what people will do to get the money to
Right,
get the drug.
right.
Because
And if there's a clinic you can go to, then there's the
right.
crime drops.
Well, and just some of the drugs, it's not like, oh, we're out. It's like, oh, we're out. Oh shit, like it's not. We're out. It's like, what are we gonna do to get more?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not even an option.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're so deep in that point in the addiction,
Mm-hmm.
and heroin is just one of the ones that is just the worst. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like it's the most devastating.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many friends I've lost this year just from fucking.
Right. Well, how about? Have you ever heard of ibogaine?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
What's your input on ibogaine?
I've heard
I discovered it
ibogaine is
recently.
like a miracle cure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too scared to do ibogaine though.
Right.
I would be too scared to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I've read about ibogaine is that for some people, the trip never stops.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Right.
been a few people that have taken ibogaine and it never stopped tripping.
Mm-hmm. I haven't read that, but I basically did read that it is like it's not a fun trip. It's not a fun drug.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't imagine.
but
dude.
it's still
I think
like
was it from the Datura plant?
Uh,
I think it's from Datura.
I want to say it's iboga. But
Okay,
I don't,
yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think it sounds like iboga, but I just more or less what kills me is that apparently you do that drug or whatever. You go on a pretty bad trip or whatever, but you don't have the withdrawal symptoms of heroin, right?
Right.
And I have no context or
It
experience.
kind of fixes those brain pathways,
Mhm.
probably.
Absolutely.
Kind of like how what's the other drug? Honestly, man, every time I've ever taken mushrooms
Mhm.
for like I smoke cigarettes. Every time I've ever taken mushrooms, I've quit smoking cigarettes
Mhm.
afterwards.
I've heard a lot about that.
Like and like yeah, it's like it rewires something in my brain,
Mhm.
or either that or I have this epiphany where I'm like, these are fucking disgusting. I'll smoke a
Right.
cigarette while I'm tripping. I'm like, I can taste every chemical in that thing,
Mhm.
and I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
And like I've quit for a couple months, and then I'll get drunk and then smoke a cigarette.
Just
and-
fuck it. Yep. No,
then it's fucked.
been there. Always
Yeah.
the moments of weakness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nicotine's tough, man.
Dude, that's why I'm
So-
trying to sip on this vape pen.
I don't know, man. Part of me, I feel like it was harder for me to get off the vaping than the actual cigs.
Really?
So
I
absolutely.
mean, I don't like vape.
So this is one, and I don't necessarily believe this. I thought this was interesting, but so with remember Popcorn Lun when
Yeah.
that was a thing?
Yeah.
So I was just reading somewhere where they were talking about like how the timing of that in coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I doubt it, but I just thought that was an interesting thing I'd come across.
The
I wouldn't
timing of
get-
coronavirus and what?
well, in Popcorn Lung, right, with all the vaping, right? Those kind of overlaps.
Was that about the same time?
Kind of within the same.
Popcorn lung
same
was
year.
like way back.
It's a little earlier, but no, that's something I wouldn't give a lot of credit to.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was an interesting thing I'd come across.
Yeah.
What other drugs are we missing? So,
Oh, that's a good question. DMT.
DMT. Yeah.
We could talk about DMT for a little
we
bit.
talk about that good one, and that's that's fucking one.
You ever tried mescaline?
Mm-mm.
That's
No.
That's one hallucinogen I've never tried.
Interesting.
Um,
It's like from a cactus.
Yeah, San Pedro or peyote.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was trying to get some San Pedro at one point, but I don't
Interesting.
know if that's ever gonna happen. But yeah, mescaline has always been one that I've wanted to try. But I stay away from the hallucinogens now, man. Especially like the synthetic ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it comes from the earth, I might do it. But you will never see me trip around another person.
You never trip around another person.
I will never ever do that to myself ever again.
Really?
Yeah. If I ever eat mushrooms again or just decide to do a trip, I will be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot handle other people's emotions
Interesting.
when I'm on that shit.
Right.
I'm oh man, I've had 3 experiences the last 3 times I've eaten mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and never again with other people.
Right.
Like, I don't like to be out at a club. I don't like to do
Man.
that shit. I don't know how people do it.
Dude, I have no idea. I've
I don't know
met
how people
people
do it.
that are like, yeah, bro, I took like 12 tabs,
Dude,
and I'm like,
fucking A, dude.
bro, like,
Like,
I'd be,
no,
I think
the
I'd be
kids, the raver
terrified.
kids. If you raver kids are
Jeez.
listening, you guys are crazy.
Right, man, that's insane. Well, fucking MDMA. So, what about MDMA? Like,
Oh yeah, MDMA. I have a very love-hate relationship with
Really?
MDMA.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we throw raves, so it's
Oh, well, that's the thing is,
it's
when
very
you're
prevalent.
throwing rays, those two things go hand in hand.
right.
Right.
And I mean, dude, it's funny, man, because like you always knew when it was going to be a good time when the plug would show up with some good shit
Right.
for the party, for the
Oh,
entire party.
Dude,
Some of these guys would fucking supply the entire party. I don't know how they did that.
I believe it. No, dude, I remember back in the Southland Ballroom days, those two things went hand in hand.
God, dude,
Like,
we got away with so much shit there.
right.
Like it was a fucking Motley Crue concert back there.
It was pretty
Like-
absurd. And then like I remember when all the guys got busted, like some of the people that got busted, and to me it evaporated. Maybe there was other reasons, but
No, I don't remember.
maybe that was maybe more still life. But I remember that some of the drug dealers at that time got busted, and I knew them personally. And dude, like
Oh,
fucking-
yeah, at
it,
the
it went
Southland
from
days?
being lit to like
Yeah.
nothing.
But see, at the Southland days, man, we had what was it, M1, the analog.
Oh yeah. The methadone.
Yeah, methadone. Yeah,
So-
it was super cheap. You could get it from China.
Right.
Like these guys were importing it from China and selling it as Molly.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And people wouldn't know the difference. And
you
so-
see people just like jawing on that
Oh,
shit. Like it's
definitely.
it
The
was
girl
horrible.
just having like, I'm like, girl, did like someone punch you? And she's like, no, I'm just been chewing on my lip. But another crazy fact I came across was that so with drug seizures, right, when it comes to quote unquote Molly, right? 'Cause when people say ecstasy, Molly, MDMA, like they don't fucking know what they're talking about at the time. But with drug seizures with Molly, right, 85% of those come back testing negative for MDMA, right? So
Really?
of the
Oh yeah,
arrests,
because it's some like analog or something.
absolutely. Or there's no telling what other kind of crazy shit you have going
Yeah.
on. So,
Yeah.
but no, I think that's hand in hand. I don't think there would be electronic music without MDMA.
Yeah, you know, I can't imagine what it would be like if we didn't have drugs at our parties.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's just it goes hand in hand.
Man, what's
I
up
guess
with
they're playing cards
is
back.
there a game on?
Yeah, I think they're playing spades maybe.
Oh man, our neighbors are getting lit.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah, it takes me back all the rave days.
Right.
You know, it's like we did so much drugs, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I'm still alive.
Right.
You know, maybe it's because we weren't doing heroin.
Dude, maybe that's the dark.
we
that's the
were
dark
doing
path,
cocaine and Molly
Right.
off strippers' titties and shit.
Well, even still, man, you know, like going back to them not wanting to actually cure addiction, like I not that I have like any personal experience, but like fucking the cost of these rehabs are absurd.
Yeah.
Like
No, they don't want you to get
it's
better.
like, bro, like fucking 10 grand for what? Like,
To go on vacation,
yeah, oh yeah, for
And
sure.
then
I could have just gone
get
to
out of
Cabo.
rehab, and then go right back to doing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know Demi Lovato, I wonder if she stayed sober. You think she stayed sober? No, she's definitely doing cocaine still. No, I don't know for sure.
Whitney Houston,
Yeah. Oh God, Whitney Houston.
man.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, man. Let's see where we lost track. Oh yeah. I don't know. What's on the board?
I'll see.
All right,
Yeah,
we
I
already
guess I
talked
didn't really
about the
finish the board.
Contras. We already talked about early history. There's so
What-
much
what,
shit.
What drugs are we missing? I mean, I feel like there's so many directions we can go.
What other drugs are there? Let's see. Cocaine, heroin, meth. Oh yeah. What about like shamanism?
Yeah, well, let's talk about consciousness, right? Like
Yeah,
war on
okay.
consciousness.
Yeah,
right?
like have you ever had an out of body experience on any type of hallucinogen?
I haven't really done that many. No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
My, I typically try to.
I've
stay
never
away
had
from
an out
drugs.
of body experience where I left my body.
Mm-mm.
The only time that something like that's ever kind of happened was when I was like really sleep deprived after like 3 days with no sleep,
Right.
and which I'll never do again. I'll never forget it, man. I could literally close my eyes and see,
Mm-hmm.
like
Interesting.
I could see,
Right.
like I could see my room, and I was like
Man.
held my hand up to my face with my eyes closed, and I could see my hand.
Right.
Like I was like that sleep deprived.
Yeah, well-
I was tripping balls.
So, I've read about it. But have you ever heard of the shadow people?
oh yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so I have no personal experience, but shit's
Definitely
interesting to
saw
me,
some shadow people
really.
that night.
So yeah, no. Apparently, and I guess it's really common. I guess more so with like meth, like people will be up on benders or binges
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Yeah.
the fact that everyone reports like seeing the same thing is kind of eerie, like really eerie.
I'm not gonna lie, man. When I was sleep deprived like that, dude, you do see the shadow people, but you can't be scared of them.
Right? Oh man, dude. Well, the stories on the internet, and like there are people in like Thailand, all over the
really
world,
true, though.
reporting seeing the same stuff.
Definitely saw
Well,
the shadow people.
even what like to what extent? Like tell me more about your.
Oh
seeing the
man,
shadow
it's just like
people.
a scary, like shadowy outline that you
Mhm.
kind of see out of the corner of your eye. And you know when you're that fucked up,
Mhm.
you know it's like it's hard to explain, man. Like you gotta be just like on a straight like bender.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
your brain after 3 days no sleep starting to break
yeah, I
down,
haven't done
etc.
that in a long time.
And I think I was talking to someone about this, forget exactly, but you know they were talking about, you know, you always see the propaganda like, oh, the faces of meth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I had someone tell me one time that it's like, dude, no, meth is not gonna fucking do that to you directly. But if you're up for fucking days on end, you're not showering, you're not eating, you're not brushing your teeth, you're eating nothing but sugary foods,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're gonna start looking like shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, same thing. You know, if you're in a fucking internment camp and you haven't
Are you
eaten for,
endorsing
like, 6
smoking meth
days.
right now, Mike?
What's that?
Are you endorsing smoking meth right now?
No, fucking please, no, don't take
Don't do meth.
Adderall.
Don't
So-
do meth. Yeah, don't do
Oh,
that either.
well,
Don't do that
let's
either.
Talk about, let's
talk about Adderall.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to call it Diet Coke,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
Diet Coke
good old Diet Coke. But you know,
or Diet meth.
I don't know much about the history of it, you know, and I guess there's all different variations. You had Concerta. Like, were you ever prescribed any of that? No, like I don't.
No, my they wanted. Okay, so I was a really hyper kid as a kid.
Mhm.
I was fucking hyper as shit. Like,
Right.
I was bouncing off the walls until I went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so my teachers always were trying to get my parents to put me on Ritalin or
Right.
Adderall, and they knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
My granddad was a pool shark, so
Right.
he grew up, in the pool hall. He knew what speed was,
Right.
So he always was like, no, we're not doing that,
Mhm.
and like that's what's so fucked up
Mm-hmm.
is you're putting your kid who's 6, 7 years old,
Absolutely.
who just might be hyperactive.
Well, 100%.
You know what I mean? And like,
Like
just
how-
the fact that he can't focus does not mean he has attention deficit disorder and he should be prescribed meth.
Right. How are you going to tell a kid, like, and first of all, how are they prescribing Adderall Concerta at like 6 or 7, 8
Honestly,
years
man,
old?
I think it's the teacher's fault.
Really?
I think it's a lot of teachers not having
Mhm.
enough patience to deal with those kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I believe that.
the students that need extra help,
Mm-hmm.
they need that extra attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the teachers aren't willing to give it to them because we're not willing to pay them good
Well,
enough.
I'll tell you what, man. Now, even nowadays, you know, you tell some, an adult like you're gonna go to school from like 8 to 3 and just sit down all day long.
Right.
Like, I just, I think that's a little crazy, and especially an expectation out of a 6, 7, 8-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is that you're just prescribing it more and more and more and
Dude,
more.
I used to get in trouble for all kinds of shit when I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because I was just daydreaming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was just like in my own head. Like I've always been
Mhm.
like that, and like
Oh.
that's not normal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we
think-
need to normalize kids being normal kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that's a big problem with pharmaceuticals these days.
Right. Well, and I've also read somewhere, man, that like ADD is not like necessarily a negative bad thing. Like they basically say that, your brain is able to decipher and interpret information so much quicker that it's almost painful, right? You're bored, painful to have to sit there and wait. And I mean, in schools, even nowadays, you're not learning. It's just like rote memorization, right?
Yeah.
Through and through. But another aspect of it, though, is that especially after World War II, they brought speed back in the 60s, 70s, man. Like
yeah.
everyone was
That's
doing
when it was
speed.
prevalent. Oh yeah,
right?
everybody was doing speed back. In
Oh,
the
this is
70s.
addictive. Like, oops,
Yeah.
our bad.
That and
So,
cocaine. Man, I wish I had been around for like the Studio 54 days, man.
Oh, I bet.
Like, goddamn, that was a fucking insane time that would have been to
Or
live.
dude, fuck that. The 1800s, like
no, I don't want to go back to
fucking-
the Stone Age. Fuck that.
Victorian time. Freud's like, oh yeah, if we give all the dock workers cocaine, they'll work faster. Like, no fucking shit. Like, I bet they will. Cocaine and Coca-Cola. Like, I wonder what point in time that changed. Drugs in a Sears
Oh
catalog.
man, I think it was like the 30s, wasn't it? When they stopped putting cocaine in the Coke.
I'm not too sure.
It wasn't the fifth. It was like way early.
hmm
Yeah,
I do know from my
like
research
20s or 30s.
that a lot of the drugs
Really?
before federally, a lot of states had their own implications and laws with drugs and everything. But I mean, you could get opium, like, let me prescribe you a little heroin.
just
for
go
that
down to the
cough
pharmacist.
You've got, buddy.
Like, I need some cocaine, pharmacist. Thank you.
Right.
I got a toothache.
Absolutely. But now, either way, and for me, my experience with Adderall, dude, I stole my little brother's Adderall. My brother was prescribed Adderall,
Yeah.
and when I was in high school, I was like, oh,
I
this
just never
shit's
liked
good.
it, man. I just can't. I hate the way that shit makes me feel, man.
Mhm.
It's just such a not a. I don't like it, man.
Right.
Never have. Like I've always been partial to cocaine.
So,
Because I don't want to be up forever.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I want to just be like, at a party or drunk. But like a big catalyst for me, I think, is when I'm drinking.
Mhm.
When I drink,
Right.
I crave it.
Oh, well,
It's like I don't know why.
so I was reading somewhere that apparently when you're drinking and doing coke at the same time, like
Mm-hmm.
it actually mixes in your blood. And please, someone look this up. Don't.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert, but like apparently it mixes in your blood and makes a particular molecule that is unique. Like with which it's
Really?
mixed. So and
Really?
the majority of the people I know, they're all about it. It's drinking only, and they say they don't like doing it just on its own.
What cocaine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
could see that.
So
I could see that.
And it's the party drug.
Right. It's a social thing too.
Right.
You know?
Dude, I was talking to someone, man. I met this guy recently, the guy with the Indian restaurant, and he was telling me he grew up in Australia. He was saying that like a gram of Coke. Guess how much a gram of Coke was in Australia?
How much?
$300.
What?
Yeah. So
What?
$300.
300 fucking
Yeah,
dollars.
and like you said, it was comparative to here. Like,
No fucking way.
so I'd be curious just with the drug trades, the drug routes, or
Wow.
whatever.
Well, they do live on an island, like a deserted island, basically. You know, it's got to travel very far to get to them.
Absolutely. So not a lot
Wow,
of
that's
coca plants
crazy.
there.
Yeah, probably. I bet you there's not a lot of cokeheads in
Right.
Australia.
Well, what's even funnier, man, is with the rise of cocaine historically, man, I forget who it was, but the powdered form of cocaine, was through the help of the Nazi scientists.
Was
right?
it another
I-
Nazi thing? That
it was-
really, it
like,
all
not-
comes
not-
back to the Nazis.
not
The
dir- not-
goddamn Germans, man.
There's
There's German engineers.
I think it was something more along the lines of it when it was growing. Like, just getting it to its powdered form takes all the processing, and they use like ex-Nazi scientists, or definitely German scientists they hired. All right, but yeah, we'll move away from that. So how about ketamine? So
Ooh,
have you
ketamine.
heard much about these ketamine, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it
you know what?
is?
Believe it or not, I was going through some depression shit a couple months back, and
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my doctor about doing a ketamine treatment. And my doctor's hilarious, dude. I was like, what does it do to you? Because I was trying to play, devil's advocate, like I didn't already know what ketamine did to me, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, what does it do to me? What's it going to do if I do it? And she said, it's going to get you high, and then you're not going to be high anymore.
Okay.
So basically, you go to this doctor's office, and they inject ketamine,
Yeah.
IV ketamine into you, and you trip balls on ketamine for like a couple hours,
Right.
and then you go home.
Yeah. It apparently works. Apparently, it's
Dude,
really, really good for depression.
I wanted to try the nasal spray that they got out. That's what I asked her about. I was like, oh,
They have
what's
a
up with
nasal
the
spray.
Yeah, the ketamine nasal spray, which she didn't recommend that. She recommended me do like a one-time dose
Right.
type thing, which I don't know. Ketamine is such a weird drug, man. Like, it's like, like you go outside. I remember doing ketamine one time, and I went outside, and it was fucking snowing. It was snowing,
Interesting.
and it was hot as shit. It was like summer.
Right.
I was in like no jacket, no nothing. I was like, how is this possible? I can't even feel this cold right now.
Right.
It's a horse tranquilizer, but
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, you can get it from a vet's office. But tell me if this analogy. I've told this to everyone. I heard it from someone. They always laugh. But ketamine is indica cocaine.
okay, I could see that.
Really?
I could definitely see that. I got caught in a warehouse downtown Raleigh one time doing a little party that we were throwing. That we like got a warehouse, and the cops busted in on us. I was high as shit on ketamine that night, dude.
Really?
And like they hit me with the lights, and like they're like, "Freeze! Put your hands up!" Because they thought we broke into the place.
Right. Was this the place on Hillsborough Street?
It was a place over off of P Street, like kind of near the Lincoln Theater's office.
Right.
But yeah, we were in my buddy's dad's warehouse, and these cops came in, thought we were broken into the place. Guns drawn on me. I'm high as balls,
Jeez.
and I couldn't see. They had the flashlights on me. It was 6 cops, guns drawn.
Yeah, K-holing or whatever they call it.
Bro, I was fucked up, and I hear through the fog because we had the place fogged out. I hear, buddy, and I'm like, Garcia? It was one of the off-duty cops that worked our
Jeez.
shows. And he goes, what the fuck are you doing in this warehouse? He's like, man. I was like, bro, we bought these lasers, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I was high as balls on ketamine that night. Actually,
At
no.
least you maintained it.
Oh,
Shit.
dude.
So,
I don't know how we didn't go to jail that night.
well, and I have no context with ketamine or whatever.
never tried it?
I've never tried it. No, but I mean, it's interesting to me that one's one that's getting the therapeutic use, or like I had a friend here in North Carolina that she was just
Oh,
like,
dude,
oh
it's
yeah,
amazing. It's
So-
really amazing what it can do for people as far as depression.
100%. The one thing I think is nuts is that of all the drugs in the world right now, or in the U.S. that are legal, like what we have alcohol and fucking whippets, like
Yeah.
like how like I
Well, we
guess-
got to have whipped cream, guys. We can't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
whipped cream
dude.
without nitrous,
right.
apparently.
So apparently they're like, oh fuck, well we got to make cakes, so we'll give you that one.
And whippets is a whole nother fucking
Dude,
thing,
I
too.
Fucking,
I think I've came close to the edge of death on whippets before.
man, I find it just like a really immature drug.
Oh,
Like,
for
it's
sure.
so immature.
For sure. That was
like,
shit when I was doing it like 18.
Right.
You know?
And I had one buddy.
Let's
and
go
it's
get some
like,
whippets.
Even if it's legal, I still feel weird about it. It's like, bro, like, and like you have those canisters everywhere. It's like,
Yeah. What about the Whip It Mafia at the Bass Nectar shows?
I don't know about that, but I know
You never
I've
seen
heard
Whip
of
It Mafia?
I've never. I know there's a Whip It Mafia. I knew like there's like a hippie mafia and they were
Dude,
behind it.
I no
or,
joke. The first time Bass Nectar ever played Lincoln Theater,
Mm-hmm.
Whip It Mafia was there.
Gotcha.
They had dudes on every fucking corner with
Mhm.
walkie-talkies. On the whole corner of the Lincoln Theater's block
Mhm.
in Raleigh, they had they had a person on every single corner with a
Mhm.
walkie-talkie,
Right.
right? And you'd hear the balloons in the parking lot filling up. They'd be filling up balloons, and you see
Man,
them
is
walking
that
around.
even- Is that even fun at a
Dude,
show? Like,
I don't know how you would want to do that at a dub.
yeah,
That's how dubstep was invented, I think.
I believe
It's
that.
fucking somebody was
Dude.
listening to hip hop on
Mhm.
Whippets,
Right.
and it was like wah 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 wah, and he was like, "Oh shit,"
Man,
you know what I mean? Like,
I'll definitely say dubstep did not age well.
dude, it
Like,
did not, man.
I like.
It had its heyday, but
Right, and I like Skrillex and everything, but
Yeah.
then I'll like look back and I'm like, whoa, like what the fuck
yeah.
was I thinking?
I mean, he was a very pivotal guy. But
Right.
anyways, yeah. So like, let's see, we're getting close to about an hour right here. You want to do a quick Q&A here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get Anthony. Anthony, where you at?
I think he's over hanging out with Price somewhere.
Man. RJ,
All right, guys, this is the Q&A part of the show. We're going to do a little Q&A for the next 10 minutes. If you want to drop some questions for us, we'll be happy to talk about them or, you know.
Actually, one more question. Have you ever K-holed?
Um,
Or whatever that is. Whatever the term
no, I've never K-holed.
is. Mm-hmm.
I've seen people K-hole. It's retarded.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never K-holed.
Mm-hmm.
I've never K-holed.
But
I
like,
did-
what's it supposed to even be like? I mean, I've heard people reference it.
I did have one guy one time. I played Imagine Festival the first year,
Mhm.
and I had this guy after I got off set, and he came up to me. He's like, "You want some LSD?" And I was like, "Sure, guy." This dude dumped a vial in my hand. Like, you know, it was like a lot of LSD, dude, in my
Right.
hand, and I was like, "Fuck it," you know. But no, that. I think that trip honestly made me not ever want to trip around anybody again.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like it's just weird, man. I get in my own head. I'm like, do they
Right.
think I'm tripping? It's like it's a weird like pull shit, you know,
Mhm.
like in like mentally for me. But
Well, as these questions are coming in, you have any questions yet? No.
JJ said, I believe doctors cripple their patients to be dependent on meds. Yeah, absolutely,
100%.
JJ. Absolutely, they do that. You know,
Absolutely.
they don't want a cure. Just like there is a cure for AIDS. There's a cure for cancer.
Mhm.
There's a cure for cancer. Did you see the cure for cancer?
Absolutely. It's called a Sciac T, I think.
No, it's the sonic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sonic thing. You know what I mean? Like they,
Right.
they sonically go in and they match the frequency of the tumor.
Right.
And it's like a glass shattering. It's like a wine glass
Interesting.
shattering. And
Yeah.
it's been proven to like work.
Right.
You know, we have cures for all these diseases. We have cures for
100%.
diabetes. You know what I mean? Like we have the cures. But
Well-
there's no money in a cure.
One
You
thing
know?
I'd say about cancer, man, is that it's a $150 billion industry, right? Of like
Oh, yeah.
research, patients, etc.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, if you brought a cure to cancer to the table, like, you'd be fucking killed so quick. I
Mhm.
mean, because it's not about doing
Like
what's
Dr.
right.
Sebi.
Like, who's that?
Dr. Sebi.
Who's that?
Yeah, well, he wasn't a doctor. He was a African American guy that was killed off for his natural remedies curing cancer and AIDS.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you ever looked at like the Eastern medicine at all before?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not that I would give it too much stock, but I think it's interesting, and there's a big distinction between Western and Eastern medicine.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's funny, man. They don't want us to know about the natural remedies, man. They want to keep us sick. They want to keep us
Absolutely.
sick. They want to keep us like eating this horrible food that we're eating,
Mhm.
all these preservatives, all these chemicals. You ever seen what's in Mountain Dew?
Oh no,
Brominated vegetable oil.
right.
So it's vegetable oil that has bromine
Mm-hmm.
in it.
I know Yellow Five's in it. Apparently, that makes
Bro.
your dick smaller.
Really?
That's what
Yellow
I've
5
heard.
makes your dick smaller. Is that
Yeah,
what?
yeah, that's
is that
what I've
true?
heard. There was like a
Fact
high
check me
school-
here.
Yeah, fact check that.
All right, guys. I think it's time we wrap this up. I thank you guys for tuning in for episode 3. Also, if you guys are business owners or anything like that and would like to help sponsor our show, we're more than open to sponsors. Just go ahead and message the page if you have any ideas. We'd be glad to shout you guys out. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Conspiracy Talk Podcast, episode 3.
Absolutely. Take care. Have
Yep.
a good night.
All right, guys.
Fuck the media.
Yeah, fuck the media.